Welcome to Rockingham Speedway here in Corby, where we're looking at the Armed Forces Race Challenge. In this programme we're going to be covering the action-packed races. The grid comprises of a huge variety of different production vehicles, so we're going to take to a very fast oval track combined with a tight and twisty infield section. It's going to be exciting, so I'll hand you up to our race commentator Andy McEwen for race one.
Thanks, Anthony. Cars lining up on the grid ahead of our first 18-minute plus one lap race, and it is Mark Inman in the Vauxhall VX220 on pole, with Will Ashmore's Honda Civic alongside. Then it's Robert Taylor and Ian Fletcher ahead of Ed Fuller and Mark White, with Ed McKean and Darren Howe rounding out the top 8. Then it's Chris Slater and Ben Grundy, Paul Waterhouse and Simon Frowen. Podium finishes from earlier in the year ahead of Tom Sykes and Simon Skirton. Then it's Daniel Smith, Chris Dancer, John Mitchell and Simon Barlow at the back. So the Vauxhall VX220, the red car of Mark Inman on pole position, double winner from Silverstone, Will Ashmore on the inside of row number 1 as we launch off the line. And what a start it was from the Hornet, the Fletcher Hornet of Ian Fletcher, who goes into second place and then challenges Mark Inman for the race lead as they charge through turn 1 for the first time of asking. Everyone away from the line cleanly though, which is good to see. Simon Frowen there in the Fiesta working his way through in car number 33, but here is the lead battle. It's Inman that leads the way, Fletcher's second, Ashmore coming back at them round the outside, but it will be the VX220. Mark Inman looking for his first win of the year, leads them through the first corner. Mark raced with us at Alton Park, missed Silverstone, the second race meeting of the year, but is here at Rockingham and looking to try and get onto the top step of the podium for the first time. Everyone else skating through. There's the Mark 1 Escort of Chris Dancer. Great variety of cars out there in a championship that really does race for a good cause. On board with Will Ashmore, looking up the inside of Fletcher for second place here as we dive down into Kirby. Great mix of sports cars, saloon cars, hatchbacks, front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, front-engine, mid-engined. Everything you can think of, every possible configuration you can think of, more or less, is out there on the track, and it is a three-way fight for the race lead as they come through Gracelands for the first time, with Mark Inman just about hanging on for Ian Fletcher in second, sideways there in fourth position as the here comes the move for Fletcher. Couldn't quite do it in towards the Tarzan hairpin, forces Inman in a bit deep, and then he too follows him in a little bit deep. That was Mark White up there, who I think was getting sideways in fourth place, the winner from Alton Park first time out, the second race of the day at Alton Park he won. Look how close it is at the head of the field. They were really getting away from each other, but now we're about to go out into the banking for the first time, and this is where we start to see which cars have the straight line speed advantage, and that Fletcher, the Fletcher Hornet of Ian Fletcher, does look pretty rapid, doesn't it? Look at that, he's gapping the Civic behind, but there's not that much to choose actually between the lead contenders. Fifth position there, you can see the BMW of Robert Taylor, which started third. Robert Taylor is also his first podium of the season so far. It might be Robert's first appearance with the Armed Forces Race Challenge in 2018. Even though seems to have fended off Fletcher for the time being, he's coming back to the clutches of Will Ashmore. As I said, double winner last time out at Silverstone, Ashmore, and therefore puts himself into a very competitive championship position. He's up there with the likes of Mark White, Chris Slater, Darren Howe, all fighting for the championship lead as we go into the second half of the season. It's only an 8-race season, the Armed Forces Race Challenge, and Will Ashmore dives to the inside of Fletcher down towards Kirby. He tried this on the opening lap. Has he made it stick on lap number 2? Fletcher has the traction though from the rear-wheel drive kit car, and he's able to pull back in front. Brilliant stuff that though between the two of them, and the more they battle, the further away the race leader may be able to pull. That is Mark Inman in the VX220. But yes, this is an 8-race championship, 4 race meetings, 2 races at each meeting, and this is the third of those race meetings, so we're into the second half of the season now. Championship points starting to become more significant. Here comes, who's that starting to make some progress then? That's Ed Fuller, starting 5th on the grid in the Caterham 7, slipped down a bit off the line, which is strange. Caterham's usually very good off the line. He's had to fight his way back after a bit of a sluggish start. Leaders back across the start-finish line, and Inman now definitely getting away. The battling is going on behind him, and the more that they will trip over each other, particularly around such a tight technical circuit such as Rockingham, where each corner leads directly into another. And so if you do get yourselves involved in a dice, you're likely to lose quite a bit of momentum and therefore time to the cars around you. Like that was Robert Taylor making a move on the inside of Mark White. Yes, he does. And Mark White in car number 65 has to give way. So BMW moves goes ahead. Can Mark come back at him though? Knocked down into Yenwood, he can't. The first of these two tricky 90-degree right-handers. The second one actually goes beyond 90 degrees because you have the 90-degree apex here at Chapman, and then it just keeps on going before you flick it back through the left-right at Piff-Paff, which is where we know Will Ashmore is quick. And for the third lap out of 3, he dives up the inside of Ian Fletcher. Only this time he tries to bully his way to the apex first, which he does, and he takes over second place. So finally, Will Ashmore is back where he started in second position, but Ian Fletcher will try and come back at him if at all possible. Let's see how close they are as they come out of Gracelands for the third time. Nose to tail is the answer, and being caught, I would say, slightly by Robert Taylor in the BMW behind. Very, very wide line there by Ashmore, but an even wider line by Fletcher. So in the end, not much gained, but that rear-wheel drive Fletcher Hornet Mark IV does look a little bit quicker at this stage of the race. Maybe the rear-wheel drive car just looking after its tyres a bit better. It is, I think, better suited to the technical challenges of the infield here. You can see that Ashmore's car is not looking particularly comfortable to drive, and therefore not quite as quick. They're not a million miles further back from the race leader Mark Inman at this stage either, so Inman being kept reasonably honest, and as he starts to get into the traffic, he will be aware, certainly, that these two are not a million miles back. Trip up over a back marker, and all of a sudden they'll be breathing down his neck, so he's got to keep pushing. Fletcher's certainly pushing though as he tries to get up the inside of Ashmore into Gracelands. Can't do it on the way in. What about on the way out? Down towards Tarzan. That car is good on their brakes. He goes for a real late lunge up the inside, and Ian Fletcher is about to go through into second place, or is he? Ashmore tries to fight back, gets the power down on the wide sweeping line out of the corner, and then commands the inside line down the school straight. So Ashmore back in front, moves over to cover again in the braking zone into the chicane, trying to avoid those big sausage curbs though. They can do a fair bit of damage to your car if you're not too careful. So Ian Fletcher looking like one of the raciest drivers out there in this one. Really keen to try and find a way through, if at all possible. So a couple of minutes left on the clock, plus that one extra lap of course, so we've still got maybe 2 or 3 laps left in this one. And still, second place could go one of 2 ways. Back down into the Dean hairpin they go, and Ashmore smartly defends the inside line. Now there's a back marker about to get in the mix here. This could change things around slightly. That is Thomas Sykes, I believe, in the BMW, and Fletcher takes full advantage. Look at that, goes round the outside of Ashmore and goes right round the outside of Yenwood. Brilliant move that was by Ian Fletcher, and he is into second position. So can Ashmore fight back though? This is where Ashmore is quick. Remember, he passed Fletcher down here a little bit earlier on in the race. He takes a lot of curb though that time through the Piff-Paff chicane, and Fletcher is wise to the move, so he defends the inside line, but everyone's a bit wide as a result. Can't get either apex, but still gets a good squirt out of the corner. Someone kicks up the dust further up the road, but that was perfectly read situation there by Ian Fletcher. Saw that Ashmore might have gone the wrong way as he was trying to get past the back marker, and indeed that seemed to be the case. The Mini of Simon Skirton is the next car to go a lap down to these two. He's already gone a lap down to the leader. Simon Skirton started 14th, that's roughly where he's running now, maybe a place or 2 higher with a couple that have run into difficulties. Ian Fletcher is getting away now from Ashmore, although he gets a bit balked there by the Mini, which wasn't necessarily quite as aware of what was going on in his mirrors as Ian Fletcher would have liked. Simon Skirton with his own race to run, novice cross on the back of his car as well, telling us that he's reasonably inexperienced racer. Last lap board goes out though to Mark Inman. Vauxhall VX220 driver is looking good for his first victory of the season. In fact, it will improve upon his previous best finish of 6th back at Oldham Park. So this is a much improved performance from Mark Inman, and it will put him well and truly up there in the championship now as well. So he heads down into Yenwood for the final time. Nothing but traffic to worry about over the final lap, but as we've just seen, traffic can have a part to play the way these races pan out. The right-hander there at Chapman, back through the Piff-Paff section, and then into the double apex right-hander at Kirby. They're about another lap on the number 62 Ford Fiesta of Daniel Smith, which he does so now. Nicely done on the inside there into Gracelands. It's been a faultless performance this from Mark Inman. Started on pole, was never really headed, it has to be said, by the cars behind, and he's about to bring it home, a race winner. Looks like Ian Fletcher has seen off the challenge of Will Ashmore for second place as well. There you can see him in the background in the yellow Fletcher Hornet. Into the final chicane for the final time. Mark Inman, and it's going to be the perfect way to start the weekend. Can he make it the double in race number 2? Well, we'll find out a bit later on. Mark Inman comes out of the final turn, sees the checkered flag, and takes his first victory of 2018. A great measured drive from the Vauxhall VX220 driver, and he takes the race win. Brilliant drive from Mark Inman, and he will be looking to double up later on. Certainly so far, it doesn't look like many people have got the pace to challenge him. So, race victory for Inman. And second place we're hearing across the line was Will Ashmore by several seconds actually over Ian Fletcher. Here's confirmation. Look, it's Inman from Ashmore from Fletcher, so I don't know what happened there. Robert Taylor fourth from Ed Fuller fifth, then it's Mark White, Ed McKean, Darren Howe, Chris Slater and Paul Waterhouse rounds out the top 10 ahead of Simon Frowen and Simon Skirton 11th and 12th, Thomas Sykes 13th, then John Mitchell, Daniel Smith and Chris Dancer. We lost Ben Grundy and Simon Barlow was a non-starter.
Well, Mark, frantic race. I thought Ian had you at the start, but you've got a great straight line speed.
Yeah, it's I got a good start, although it did wheel spin a bit first. It's slippier than it is on other tracks, and I knew I had to keep him behind while I got some heat in the tyres. Thankfully did, and then he got in a battle with Will, which held them both up and gave me that chance to get a bit of a gap.
Ian, what a start, first of all. The car's not quite got the straight line speed, hitting the rev limits all the way down the back straight.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, with the gearing with it, I can't get the gearing any better really. Yeah, so I just have to live with it. It's about, because this is also, the classes are based on like a power to weight. I've just got 119 brake horsepower, but I don't weigh much either. So yeah, I suffer a little bit on the straights, but it picks it back up generally through the corners.
Well, frantic race. It's a great track to race on. It's a great thing to be involved with.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a very frantic race between me and Billy at least. Just got a bit of a poor start off the line, which meant Mark was gone. He's got a real good car off the line, but otherwise we're normally pretty well matched. But yeah, between me and Billy, we're battling throughout.
Welcome back to Rockingham, where race number 2 of the weekend for the Armed Forces Race Challenge is about to get underway. The cars lining up on the grid ahead of their second race of the weekend. So it is going to be another very busy grid. There you can see it, with pole position going the way of Mark Inman, our race 1 winner, Robert Taylor alongside him, then Will Ashmore and Ian Fletcher, Mark White and Ed Fuller, and Ed McKean and Chris Slater round out the top 8. It's the second fastest lap times from qualifying side the grid for this one, so there is a bit of a shuffle as the 5-second board is flown. Watch the yellow Fletcher Horner to Ian Fletcher from the inside of row number 2. He made a demon getaway in race 1. Can he do the same sort of thing in race 2? The lights go out. The answer is, well, sort of, but it's the Caterham actually, isn't it, of Ed Fuller that got the best drive. A terrible start from Rob Taylor from the inside of row number 1, and he slips backwards. Everyone is away though, and charging down now towards the first corner. Good to see Simon Barlow out there after mechanical dramas meant that he was a non-starter in race 1, but it is going to be Inman that leads the way. Fletcher into second position. Oh, and Inman goes off! Oh, Mark Inman off wide onto the grass of the Dean hairpin. It is so easily done, and not only does he lose the lead, he drops down to third, maybe fourth position as they head down towards Yentwood for the first time. What a disaster for Mark Inman. It looked as though he'd done everything right there to set himself up for a nice, easy, quiet Sunday afternoon drive to a victory. And all of a sudden, things change dramatically. He's got some real work to do now. Hopefully the car isn't too badly damaged. It shouldn't be. Ian Fletcher, therefore, takes over the race victory. But for how much longer? Because here comes Will Ashmore up the inside line. And just as he did in race 1, he makes the move stick down into Kirby. That seems to be Fletcher's weak point. He's closing back in, though, as they head back towards Gracelands for the first time. Ashmore leads the way. Fletcher up the inside line, though, takes a much tighter line into the turn. Has to try and carry good speed out of the corner, and he's good on the brakes, remember, down into Tarzan. So Will Ashmore will remember that from their race 1 duel even, and defend the inside line, which he does. He eases Fletcher out onto the marbles. That's why he's fighting with the wheel so much on the dirty side of the road. We've got the BMW back to third now, Robert Taylor, and fourth place equal at the moment, Ed Fuller and our race 1 winner Mark Ashman. But Ashman on the inside line will go fourth on the brakes into the chicane, ahead of Fuller and Mark White in 6th. The top 5 breaking away already. Will Ashmore, double winner from Silverstone, podium finisher in the previous race, and wasn't on the podium, in fact didn't race with us, I believe. They did race with us at Silverstone, did Ashmore. Took, sorry, Park at our first rounds of the season. Will Ashmore, yeah, he's only had those 2 podiums, which were his 2 race victories, but he's in the lead now. Here comes the battle for second place going on, and it's Fletcher fighting off all comers here, really. Got the BMW compact car of Rob Taylor, dragging around the outside of him, the Vauxhall VX220 of Mark Inman. Has he got the inside line into Yentwood? He's thinking, oh, there's contact between the two of them. Inman's over the curb. This is how much more difficult it becomes when you're mired back in the midfield, well, not even the midfield, just outside the top 2 or 3, because it's very, very close quarter stuff. As we saw throughout race 1, they never really separated that much in the fight for second on back. And this time around, Inman is a part of it rather than pulling away out in front. Again, Ian Fletcher seems to struggle a bit going into Kirby, manages to fend off Rob Taylor for the time being, and Inman now looking to the inside of the BMW in towards Gracelands. Can't do it there though. Brilliant racing though this is, and as unlucky it was for Mark Inman to find himself off the road on the first lap, it has gifted us a real race now, because he's not having it all his own way. They all know how quick he is, and if they just stop and wave him through, he's going to run away with another race victory. Goes around the outside though of the BMW there of Rob Taylor, made that look very easy, and Taylor was very slow on the apex, and so alongside him also now comes Ed Fuller on the run down in towards the chicane, and the Caterham, you'd imagine, will be later on the brakes, or are they going to run side by side? They're going to try it, and actually the BMW stays in front, so great driving there from Robert Taylor, although we have seen that Ed Fuller hasn't necessarily been quite as brave on the brakes as he could have been in that lightweight Caterham this weekend, just struggling maybe to gain the full confidence in the braking capabilities of that car. So back on board with Fletcher car in second place, Ian Fletcher. He's now got our race 1 winner Mark Inman. Well, I was about to say breathing down his neck, actually ahead of him. Look at that, nice move there, and that was just sheer horsepower, I think, for the VX220. We heard Anthony commenting to Mark in his post-race interview after race 1 that the car is very quick in a straight line, arguably the quickest out there in a straight line, and it proved it there to drive past the far from sluggish Fletcher Hornet Mark 4 of Ian Fletcher, which is demoted down to 3rd place now. He once more will do battle with Robert Taylor and Ed Fuller, as he did for a portion of the previous race, but of course it was really Will Ashmore that Fletcher spent most of his time racing in race 1. Oh, big lock up there for the BMW of Taylor down into Kirby. He's got to be careful doing that. Not only can you risk running off the track, which of course is not going to be beneficial for getting a good result, but you can flat spot a tyre very easily, and then every time you go to hit the brakes, it will find the flat spotted part of the tyre, and you'll lock up more and more and do more damage to the tyre until eventually it delaminates completely. Smoke possibly there coming from the back of the race leader's car, I thought. Will Ashmore as it went through Gracelands. We'll have to wait and see whether that manifests itself into a great problem. He's certainly got a bit of a problem on his hands now, because Mark Inman, in the space of a lap, has gapped Ian Fletcher and has caught the race leader. Fletcher there in 3rd, then the BMW of Taylor, then the Caterham of Fuller. And these top 5 cars still running in fairly close proximity, but you would imagine that Mark Inman, based on the pace that he showed in race 1, is probably going to be able to get through into the race lead. But then Will Ashmore showed how feisty he was in race 1, never backwards and coming forwards, and if you can hold on to the lead, he will, and even if he loses it, he'll surely try and fight back whenever possible. And because it's such a wide circuit, there are no real reference points there. It's very easy to outbrake yourself. Will Ashmore can't afford to outbrake himself, because one mistake and Mark Inman will be through, and he's alongside now as they head down towards Tarzan. The outside line on the way in. Now does he go right round the outside? He's going to try it. This is getting brave here, but this might just work. He'll have better traction off the corner from the rear-wheel drive Vauxhall. Can Ashman get over to defend? No, not quite. They are side by side down towards the Brook chicane, and I think that Inman might just make this one stick. He's got the inside line, and in fairness to Will Ashmore, he knew when he was beat, and he lets him go, but he's going to try and come straight back at him though as they come out onto the banking. That might be his last chance to do so though, because that Vauxhall, we know it's quick in a straight line, and I reckon that Mark Inman might just be able to pull away. Ian Fletcher has got a grandstand view of this fight for the race lead as they come out onto the pit straight, and Fletcher will be hoping that they keep on falling over each other, because it looks like his lap time has been pretty good of late, and he's been taking advantage of their battling to actually close in slightly on the leading 2. Now that Inman is in front though, it may well be that that is as close as he gets, but Ashmore is not giving in. It's a bit deep on the brakes though into Dean, and that won't help his cause. Look out the corner though, down into Yentwood. There you go, and time ticking on in this race as well. We're well into the second half now. And is that going to be the move that makes it stick for Mark Inman? and Will Ashmore come back at him. Will, of course, might end up focusing more on his mirrors than out of his windscreen if Ian Fletcher gets any closer, because we know Fletcher's car is fairly rapid as well around here. And don't forget that he's bringing along with him Robert Taylor, who's dropped Ed Fuller now slightly. And then there's a big old gap back to Mark White, so Mark White has really lost some time somewhere in this race. The driver who has won a race this year, but is not going to do so here at Rockingham. Mini about to go another lap down. That's Simon Skirton in car 56. It looks as though Mark Inman is starting to make good his escape now at the head of the field, back with Ian Fletcher, and yes, he's definitely catching Will Ashmore. He's a bit closer now, I'd say, than he was at the start of the lap. They'll both want to get up the inside of Skirton's Mini cleanly into the brush game, which they do, but Ashmore again just runs a bit wide. So too though is Fletcher, because he went in on a tight line to get past the back marker, and that compromised his line through the corner. Not too much though, he'll get off the corner fairly rapidly. There is the number 33 car, which is Simon Frowen, who goes on the inside. Oh no, and there's contact with Thomas Sykes. Sykes actually did really well to save that, because that BMW was rear-wheel drive, and rear-wheel drive cars are notoriously difficult to save when they receive a bit of contact like that. But is that game over maybe for Simon Frowen, whose car has stopped right on the apex of the Dean hairpin, but it still appears to be running. But his line of sight will be obscured by that tyre wall. He doesn't know when there's a big pack of cars coming. He daren't select reverse gear and try and carry on for fear that he ends up getting sort of wiped out by another car coming through. So he may well be stuck there for some time. Looks as though Tom Sykes has been able to continue with no real damage in his BMW 330. He's been caught again slightly now by the recovering Chris Dancer. He'll be looking to try and resume their battle they were having earlier on as they turn through Graceland. The BMW not quite as quick through there as the Escort was. Back down into the Tarzan hairpin they go. And we're hearing that Frowen's car is still stuck at the Teen hairpin, and that may require a safety car. Possibly even actually a red flag, because we are getting towards the end of the race now, so maybe that they decide to call this one early. That would be good news for Mark Inman, because he is very eager to see the checkered flag, I'm sure, the race leader. He's not far behind these two, actually, about to put a lap on them, both of whom have had their dramas. Back out of the final corner, up onto the banking, and onto another lap. Mark Inman, as I said, not that far behind. Underneath the starting gantry they go, and yes, there we go, red flag. Red flag is thrown, understandably, with the car stopped in a dangerous position. There it is, and Simon Frowen has decided to abandon ship. He's getting out of the car. Didn't much fancy sitting broadside across the middle of the road. I can't say I blame him either. So that is the race done. So, confirmation of the result there. Mark Inman takes the victory from Will Ashmore in second, and Ian Fletcher in third. A great race between all three of them, though. Robert Taylor was fourth, and Ed Fuller in fifth. Mark White a distant sixth, ahead of Ed McKean, Darren Howe, Chris Slater, and Paul Waterhouse. Then it's Tom Sykes, Chris Dancer, Simon Skirton, John Mitchell, Daniel Smith, and Simon Barlow. We lost Simon Frowen, and Ben Grundy was a non-starter.
Well, Mark, firstly, congratulations on the win, but you made hard work out of that.
Yeah, I say it went straight on at turn 2 and dropped back to 4, so I knew I had some work to do, which in an 18 minute plus 1 lap race is hard work. Thankfully got past a couple quite quickly, and then it was just me and Will Ashmore.
Well, Will, firstly, congratulations on the second place. You tried your best to keep Mark behind you, but you couldn't hold him off.
Yeah, when I saw Mark go off at turn 1, I saw my chance. I knew I had to get some solid laps in at the start just to try and create a gap. But within pretty short order, he was up my chuff. I put up a pretty hard stand for as long as I could. At the end of the day, he was the quicker driver, and I couldn't hold him off for the whole race.
Hey, Ian, great start. Obviously, you led for a couple of laps after Mark went off. It's a shame the red flag came out. You were hanging on. Anything could have happened.
Yeah, a really good race. I knew from the first race that they would struggle in the last couple of laps, as they had done in the first race. So I was just wanted to keep in touch with them, bide my time, and then make my move. But unfortunately, the last couple of laps never arrived. You know, the red flags came out first.
There's been action all the way here at Rockingham Speedway. We've seen victors, we've seen losers, we've seen glory, we've seen defeats, but unfortunately it all has to come to an end. A huge thank you to the 750 Motor Club for putting on a great performance and a great show.